The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Casa Grande, Arizona, on your new fire apparatus, job number 31371. Please utilize this job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Let's start down at the front bumper. Forward facing on the passenger and driver side, you have dual air horns. On the passenger side, you have an electronic siren PA control speaker. Moving to the center, a center-mounted forward-facing mechanical siren. Moving all the way to the driver's side, you'll find your identifier T502. Located on the right and left side, you'll find emergency warning lights on the front bumper. Moving up onto the extended bumper, you'll find your location for your front-facing monitor. Moving up onto the grille, you'll find the Pierce logo located in the center. On the right and left, you have forward-facing emergency warning lights. Right and left, you'll find your headlight and turn signal assembly. Moving all the way up onto the very top, you'll find the location for the pull handle for tilting your hood. Moving over to the right and left side fender, you'll find the marker or turn indicator. Moving up from that location on the driver's side, you'll find your air intake. Moving to the right and left, you'll find your mirror assembly. The lower mirror will be a convex mirror. The upper mirror will be a flat mirror. Moving all the way up to the very top of the apparatus, you'll find your emergency light bar. Located in the center of that emergency light bar is your opticom. And then above that, just slightly mounted to the rear, you'll find your go light controlled from inside the cab. A couple of close-ups here underneath the front bumper, you'll find your open-ended tow hook, unit call sign, and also side-facing warning lights. Up onto the hood, you'll find the intake for your air and also turn indicator. Moving slightly back from that location, you'll find the latch for your hood release. These are both on the right and left side. There is also a warning indicator here regarding front turret must be removed before opening the hood. It will strike that when moving. On the right and left side, you'll find your side-facing cameras. Generalized view here of the side of the apparatus. We'll cover some of the details. Let's first start down in the lower corner near the step. You'll find perimeter lighting. Moving up from that perimeter lighting, you'll find your ultra low sulfur diesel fuel. That's going to be a silver cap. And then to the right, you'll find your blue cap, which is your DEF location. Let's move into the cab. First, as you step foot into the cab, you'll find on the left side a foot pedal for your mechanical siren. Moving up onto the seat, you'll find your comfort controls. This is an air ride seat. Difficult to see in this image, although this is a yellow placard. I have an additional image here next. This placard is the manufactured by Pierce Manufacturing for the city of Casa Grande. You can see that you have your date of manufacture, job number. You also have the chassis type, tire, gross vehicle weight ratings, and also your VIN number located on this. Let's move just down from this location. You'll find your master battery switch, quarter turn on and off switch. Up from that location, you'll find your auto charger. When plugged into shore power, this will activate and indicate your battery status. Let's move up onto the dash itself. You'll find this placard for height, length, and gross vehicle weight rating. In the upper portion, you'll find your controls for speed control, set and accelerate, set and coast, headlight control and parking lights. Located underneath that, you'll find the increase or decrease dash illumination. Let's take a look at the components within the area located directly in front of the driver. This is going to be first your transmission on the left. Kind of difficult to see in this image. Up from that, you'll find your water temperature and also your oil pressure. Moving to the large 2-center gauges, you'll find on the left side, you'll find your tachometer. Moving to the right side, you'll find your speedometer. And then as we move all the way up to the upper right-hand corner, this is a 2-function gauge. This is going to be your ultra low sulfur diesel fuel. And then in that same gauge, you'll find just beneath it a digital readout here regarding your DEF level. There are 4 indicators for that. Moving down to that location, you'll find 2 air brake control gauges. First P and the next one down is S, stands for primary and secondary. Moving to the very far right, you'll find your push mode for hold and reset. This is for your tripometer, and selecting through the menu on your dash. Moving to the right, you'll find your shutdown override, and you'll also find your ATC for normal or spin. Moving down from that, you'll find your Allison transmission pad, and as we move further to the right, you'll find your PTO shift. There is a couple of gauges here. One, there is an on-off switch located here on the left, and then there is also an indicator in green for PTO engaged. Moving down to the next section down, you'll find the shift at idle speed only. You'll find an OK indicator, and you'll find the OK to pump in motion. Moving to the right, this is going to be a light to illuminate the dash area, and at the upper portion in the yellow, this is your Bendix brakes. This is the push to apply and pull to release. Let's move up to the dash area here, set of switches. First, starting on the left in red, this is going to be your OK to engage the high idle switch. This is the switch that engages the high idle. Next to it, you'll find the indicator regarding the OK to engage high idle. You'll also find your load manager, engine brake, and also engine brake high and low. You have a differential lock. You also have, moving to the right, the indication for your regen, a blank switch, and your mirror heat. Moving down to the next set of switches on the bottom, you'll find your master tank dump indicated in red. You have a high beam flash, electronic horn or electronic siren. You have a siren horn. You have your siren brake once again in red. And then moving to the very far right, you'll find additional switches for lighting, front strobe, driver scene, rear scene, and passenger scene. Also located in the center, you'll find a cutout location here for additional components, and then underneath that, your stereo. Generalized view here of the center console of the cab, and we'll break down some of the items here next. Let's first start with climate control, fan speed, location of vent, and also hot and cold. Moving down to the bottom, you'll find your driver's side dump valve. You have an indicator here for open or closed. You also have rear and passenger side dump, also with indicators. Let's go ahead and now move to the center console just beneath that area. These are going to be your sweeps. This is going to be the driver's side mid sweep, and also all the way across you'll find driver's side rear sweep, passenger side rear sweep, and mid sweep. You also have a water tank level indicator and also a switch to engage your CAFs. Moving down to the lower side, you'll find your Foam Pro. This is an on-off switch. Light is on and ready for foam, and then you also have a digital readout for your pressure reading. Let's go ahead and move over to the handle here. This is your control module here for your front monitor. There is a trigger switch on it for activating water. Overhead, you'll find a generalized view of this picture. Let's start on the left side with the driver alley switch, and then we'll also move to the center. This is the go light controlled on this side. This is the light that is controlled on the very top near the light bar. You have an on-off and then a switch indicating that it is on, red indicating that it is illuminated and on. Moving to the right, you'll find your emergency master, opticom, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, and upper rear warning. You'll also find in this section, as we move further to the right, you'll find an additional rope. This is going to be for your air horn. And then all the way to the very far right hand side, you'll find the control for your siren control and PA. I would like to point out this red light at the very bottom. This is if you have a compartment or door open, this will illuminate. Moving to the right, this is going to be your siren control and also PA system. Here's an additional image of that light illuminated if you have a compartment open or a door open. Moving to the rear section of the cab, we'll find headsets located here and also a cab light. Moving just beneath that location, you'll find the SETCOM. This is for your headsets, for headsets 1, 2, and 3. Just in front of that, you'll find storage location for map books and information. And as we move to the very rear section here, you'll find 2 portable stream lights. Generalized view here of the side of the cab of the apparatus. We'll break down some of those components. Let's start down on the lower left-hand side first, underneath the apparatus. We're going to start first with, this is going to be your side sweep. There is one on this side and also on the passenger side. Also located here, perimeter lighting. This is underneath the pump panel area. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the components within the pump panel, starting first in the upper left-hand corner with the number 1 and number 2 discharge, and also your 2.5-inch discharge. I also have instructions here for your Husky foam system. This is actually the breakdown and inspection information and specifications. Moving to the left, you have additional information placard here for your CAFS system and also an audible warning alarm. Moving in the blue section, you'll find your Hercules CAFS system. This is the control module for that. As we move to the right, you'll find in red, this is the foam system. This is to control your Class A foam. And then as we move further to the right in the gray area, Pierce cutout, this is going to be your master intake, master discharge. We'll talk about some of those components later on. And then further to the right, you'll find your TPG. This is your Pierce throttle pressure governor. There is also an audible alarm above that, and then an amber check your transmission if this light is illuminated. All the way to the far right, a little hard to see in this image, we do have a bank of switches, and I'll cover those in the next set of slides. Moving up into the upper left-hand corner, compressor capacity, 140 at 125 psi. You also have information here and warning regarding your CAF system. In the red section, this is going to be your foam system for Class A, and also the module for controlling, and also an indicator for your foam level. In gray, master intake, master discharge, test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. And as we move further to the right, you'll find your Trek transmission, TPG for your throttle pressure governor, and also a set of switches indicating your pump is properly engaged. Moving down, you'll find this placard from Pierce. This is the 150, 200, and 250 test pressures. It also indicates your governed speed. Located in the center, you'll find your SETCOM. This is the plug-in for your operator headset. Moving further down from this location, you'll find your front turret, open and closed, and also your driver rear discharge. Moving further to the right, you're going to find this, which is your primer fire pump. There's also priming instructions here that you need to be at least at 1,000 RPMs while priming. Additional 2.5-inch, number 1, number 2, and number 3. As we move further to the right, we'll find your engine cooler and also engine recirculating, tank refill, and tank to pump. Let's move down to the next set here. At the very bottom in red, you'll find an auto eject. This is for your shoreline inlet. Moving across, you'll find two 2.5-inch discharge. Also a warning label here that only trained personnel should operate this vehicle, and also a warning label here regarding pressurized caps and the associated hazards when those caps are removed. Located in the center, you'll find your large diameter intake. It is the American flag Pierce logo. And to the very far right, you'll find your CAFS air inlet. Moving further down, this is going to be the side spray for your sweeps, controlled from within inside the cab. As we move to the right, you'll find an additional set of drains and also air intakes and also drains for your manifolds. Located in the center, this is a 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet, and then we have some access covers. We'll talk about those in a few minutes. Just up from that, you'll find your master drain. And then as we look to the right, these are going to be all of your CAFs, inlet and outlets, and also foam fill. Once again, some close-ups here. Shoreline inlet, 20 amp, 120 VAC, auto eject. This is your number 1 and number 3 discharges, 2.5-inch. Move down, large diameter intake. This is your CAFS air outlet. And also just beneath that, you'll find your foam fill. Located in the far left lower corner, you're going to find your air inlet, your manifold drain, and then all of the others are going to be associated drains, which are clearly labeled. Your 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet. Moving down further, you'll find your pump drain and also your foam tank fill. As we move to the general view here, the cab on the left is going to be a grab handle for entering and exiting the cab. And then you have additional grab handles here for going aloft up on top of the apparatus. This is a fold down step, which also can act as a step and also a grab handle. Let's go ahead and take a look at the side of the apparatus. First, side facing lights here. And then as we move further down, you'll find in the rear and also located at the wheel section, emergency warning lights. Also located is your side dump. There is one additionally on the opposite side, and we'll talk about that in a few moments. Let's talk about your tank lights indicating the level of water within inside your tank. And then as we move all the way down to the very bottom, you'll find a pull-out style step for accessing above, and also your folding wheel chock storage location. Located in the first compartment, this is going to be the cab 1 compartment, you'll find your battery charger. Underneath, close up here of those folding wheel chock locations, and also the location for that pull-out step. Let's go ahead and take a look once again inside the cab 1 compartment. You'll find on the left, this is the auto charge system. This is when connected to shore power, you'll gain access to have your auto charge system operational. This is a 20 amp plug on the left. Close up here of your side dump. And as we move up onto the body itself, you'll find 2 locations for long tool storage. This is the section where the tool attaches and then slides the handle through the opposite end. Located down in the lower right hand corner here in this image, this is going to be the driver's side rear compartment. You have 2 adjustable shelves currently fixed, and also interior lighting. Moving up on top, you'll find that side facing light and also a 360-degree emergency warning light. Let's take a look at the rear section of the apparatus. First, starting on the right and left, you'll find your brake, turn, backup, and also flood to the rear. Moving up from that location, you have additional storage. There are 2 warning labels here regarding warning and hazard information regarding riding on the back of the apparatus. Your vehicle is also equipped with a rear section ladder to gain access aloft to the top of the apparatus. You have emergency warning lights and also rear facing floodlights. Located in the center, you have a backup camera, and then just beneath that, you also have a rear discharge. Let's look all the way down to the bottom, an additional pull-out style step. We'll cover this in a couple images here in the next set of images. You have dual tank fill locations, and then also in the very rear, your rear dump. Just beneath that, your 90-degree angle for right to left. Couple items here I'd like to talk about. First, this is going to be the location for your tow hooks. This should be a direct pull. They should not be pulling upward. Down at the very bottom, you'll find your perimeter lighting. Located just up from that, this is going to be your pull-out style step to gain access above ground level. And then just above that, you'll find the dump valve arm. This can be inserted into either the right or left-hand side. You'll find the 2 receiving locations indicated here. Let's move up to the top. These are going to be your 2 2.5-inch direct tank fill locations. General view here, once again, your Pierce tail information here. This has your brake, turn, backup, and also flood. You'll also find in the center your T502 indicator. And as we move up to the very top, this is going to be the rear 2.5-inch discharge. Let's take a look up onto the top. You'll find grab handles, and then you'll also find handles intended to use for lifting your covered hose bed. You'll also find there are 4 latches here for securing your hose bed, starting at the rear with number 1 and moving all the way to the front. And we're also going to find that you have 2 access panels here. We'll talk about what's behind those access doors here in the next set of images. First, let's start with the quarter turn to release. Once it's been released and you can open it, you'll find inside this location, first, your tank fill for your main water. You can see that this is not a latched tank fill. It allows the water to continually flow out if you're overfilled. Moving forward to that location, you'll find an additional access. Once we gain access inside, this is going to be your foam tank fill for Class A. This does have a warning label here regarding mixing of foam is not advised, and also it is a latched compartment lid. Moving forward to that location, you'll find the storage location for your batteries. There's also some warning information here on this cover. And into the very far right, you'll find your CAFS system pump. Couple of close-ups here. Once again, work light on the upper left, CAFS system pump located in the side compartment, top area. And then as we look, this is the compartment here which houses your batteries. Once we remove this cover, you'll see access into those battery locations. Moving forward to the location, you're going to find at the very top, this is your crosslay. Once we gain access with these two latches, this will fold in the middle, allowing you to lift that crosslay section and gain access to those crosslays. Rear section with the hose bed open. Let's go ahead and now move to the passenger side of the vehicle. First, let's start with the same location, the side dump. As we move through the components here, very similar configuration, although this side has the large water tank stored here. Once we reveal how that is stored, we'll talk about that in the next set of images. First, at the very top, same as the other side, you had your tank warning indicators. You can see that the folded tank here is stored in the upside down position. Once again, emergency lights and also side-facing flood. Rear compartment, and just to the next of that, an emergency warning light. This is going to be your side dump for the passenger side. And then as we move forward of this location, you'll find a marker light and also an emergency warning light, and then your next forward compartment on the passenger side. Let's go ahead and take a look at mid-ship location. Let's start first on the left-hand side. You have two fold-down steps. These can also be used as grab handles. And then you have three access doors here mid-compartment. Let's talk about some of those items here. First, large diameter intake. Moving to the next section forward of that location, you'll find your large diameter discharge. Moving forward from that location, you'll find a 2.5-inch discharge, clearly identified and marked, and then in between those two, you'll find your water strainer. Down at the very bottom, you'll find your set of drains. As we move forward to that location, you'll find perimeter lighting underneath, and then you'll also see your front turret drain. Let's go back up onto the panel itself, identify some of these items, and just cover some as a close-up. As you can see, the cover location in the left upper, located in the center, you'll find that strainer. And then across the bottom, you'll see your water strainer. That is a turn, not a pull. We'll cover some of the items with inside this location. First, let's go in this access door. And this is where you're going to find your foam valve supply and also your foam drain. Let's move down to the step area. You'll find that side facing. This is turned on from the discharge spray inside the cab. Just up from that location, you'll also find access here for powered equipment rack, and then a couple of covered plates here, and we'll talk about those next. Behind this access door, you're going to find your ground sweep valve. This is going to be your equipment powered rack. You have an on-off switch indicating in red that it's on, and then a lift or drop it down. Once we gain the large access panel, this gains access behind the pump for visual checks. There is also a valve down in the lower left-hand corner. As we look to the midsection, you'll find your number 1 and number 2 crosslay, and also your 2.5-inch crosslay, additional lighting and grab handles for accessing or going aloft. Let's go ahead and move now to the front section of the cab. First, I would like to point out that there is an external exhaust pipe. There is hot temperatures here, and that's what this warning label is for. Underneath the steps, once again, perimeter lighting. Let's go inside the cab now, over the operator's head and over the passenger's head. You're going to find information here regarding those dumps, and also next to it, you'll find seatbelt configuration here. Red indicating someone's in the seat and not belted, green, they are belted. Looking down on the right side, you'll find your vehicle data recorder and also an audible alarm. Congratulations, Casa Grande, Arizona, on your new apparatus, job number 31371. If you have any future questions regarding your apparatus or information that is needed, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.